Overwatch Apex Season 3, energized by Hot 6, Round Robin. Today's matchup, Kongdu Uncia, Africa Freaks Blue.
It's time now for our last best of 5, our last match of the round of 16 group stage. It is going to be Uncia versus the Africa Freaks Blue. And I'm pretty excited about this. This will be my first time actually this season getting to commentate Africa Freaks Blue. So very hyped about it. They've been dominant throughout the season. They haven't dropped a single map just yet. And they are favored, and by most people, to take this series 3-0, Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, looking like Africa Freaks Blue are going to be having the best record moving into that round of 8. Like you said, undefeated, haven't dropped a single map so far, are at a +6 game score. And then the next closest team is going to be at a +7. So if they close this out, +9, be a very big statement as they move forward into that round of 8 and, start figuring out who their opponents are going to be later this evening.
That's right. So, for them, again, it's all about making a statement, having a good showing, but not as much so as Metathena, because they'll actually get to choose their opponents as they are the first place seed in the group, whereas Metathena just had to keep up appearances so they don't get picked by, the stronger team. So the group selection that's coming up after this best of 5 is perhaps the most exciting and most important part of tonight's matches. But for Africa Freaks Blue, they want to pick up that fight money, and his matches still do matter in that regard. And
something tells me they'll be able to do that. I think that they're going to be able to get their fight money. So far they said that, we've been dieting, it's helping our play, and they haven't dropped anything yet. So it seems like the diet's working. I don't know, I haven't been able to put them on a scale and figure out how much they've lost.
They look to be a bit slimmed down, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
it's doing wonders.
Yeah.
I'm sure they really miss things like meat right now.
healthy body, healthy mind, right, as they say. So it looks to be going quite well for them, but they're the big favorites tonight. We're going to see if Arhan is slashing bodies or slashing air. I'm leaning towards the bodies this time.
I mean, everybody was ridiculing Arhan so hard in Season 2 when he didn't show up. I mean, even at the end of Season 1 when they got 4-0'd by Envious in the grand final, there was a lot of ridicule, especially going at Arhan because he was a star player. And, his thing he's always saying is like, my healers, I'm not enabled. Like, I can't do the things that I want to do. They swap in Lucid. Suddenly things are doing really well for Africa Freaks Blue. With IDK as well in there. And Arhan is now just excelling like we expected from him in Season 1. So it seems like that change has really been the catalyst to success for Africa Freaks.
Absolutely. Lucid is definitely the one that everyone's talking about right now, as Arhan has come back to form. You can blame the heroes all you want, but he definitely wasn't looking in form during the end of Season 1 and throughout Season 2. But now I feel like he's stepped it up. You've got Lucid with him, and the team just feels like it's at its final form. It's got really good cohesion. So
yeah.
The story again for Uncia tonight is, can they make this roster swap work? They're actually swapping Panker out today, so they have Butcher and Poise on the same roster, which is unusual for this team. So we'll see if, again, similar to what we saw earlier with Tyrant, can this swap actually work out?
Excellent.
Oh, it's not Mono, it's Mono. Because his name's Mono, but it's 10,005 because that's what Mono means. So take it as the play on words for the $10 bill here in Korea. It's actually pretty funny.
I say most people watching are probably just like, what? I don't know. It doesn't hit.
So normally that says Mon 1, which is the word for 10,000 won, but with Mono, it's 10,005. So, I mean, it's creativity at its finest. I don't know if this is a meme on the Korean scene or if that fan just made it, but either way, it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm a fan. So, the Korean casters. Where's the Achilles Wolf sign coming next week?
I don't know. We need more foreign fans to come out here that have artistic skills and do some drawings of us, I suppose. Maybe we'll get those on the screen. But for now,
as soon as we came back on camera, I heard a laugh from the crowd. I was like, "This put us on screen because we're not, because they're not drawn."
Not quite. But I mean, we talked a bit about the swaps coming through here for Africa Blue. Lucid actually used to be on Kongdu Uncia. They handed him this weapon that just helps Arhan excel, and now they're probably going to get stomped out by it. So a bit of an ironic situation for Kongdu Uncia to be in, as they are the 4th place team in this group.
Well, we're going to see what they have to say, of course, and from their opponents as we jump into this quick team video. Check it out.
그런 집중력이라든지 이런 것들에서 약간 아쉬움이 보였어요.
예상외의 픽이 나와서 되게 놀라기도 했고 대처를 못해서 그 간발의 차로 진 것 같아요. 승강전은 최대한 안 가게 마음을 다시 잡아야죠.
아프리카 브릭스 블루
예.
예, 정말 천하무적입니다.
네, 맞습니다.
저랑 IDK 선수가 잘한 덕분이죠. 8강 가서 좋다라는 것보다는 우승이 목적이니까 진짜 완벽한 팀이라고 소리 들을 만큼 그렇게 진화하는 점 많이 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
타임보이 선수보다 좋은 오히려 타임보이까지.
아,
아프리카 블루가 짜임새가 워낙 좋아서 그런 부분이 가장 무섭지만 제가 알고 있던 루시드는 되게 수비적이면서 가끔 실수할 때 돌이킬 수 없이 계속 무너질 때가 있거든요. 멘탈 부분을 좀 많이 긁으면 괜찮죠.
저랑 버드링이 나가니까 뭔가 되게 쉬워 보이는데요. 대민 선수만 마크를 잘 한다면 나머지는 뭐 그래도 더블리 선수가 참 걸리네요. 친정팀에 있던 팀장 형이고 그래도 좀 친하게 지냈었기 때문에 킬을 하는 순간 뭔가 기분이 되게 묘할 것 같아요.
루시드 선수 다른 팀에 가서 진짜 적응도 잘하고 있고 살도 조금 찐 것 같고 저는 일단 형으로서 되게 흐뭇해. 기억을 생각하면서 3대 0으로 이겨야겠죠? 발목이라도 잡도록 하겠습니다.
저희가 지금 기세를 탔기 때문에 무조건 3대 0으로 예상하고 있습니다. 더블리 형 사적인 감정은 없는 거 아시죠? 아프리카 프릭스 블루 화이팅!
The 3-0 call from Kongdu Uncia, probably a bit bold.
Yeah, I would say so. This is a team that the story of the team was always the kind of drain of skill, losing Lucid and, of course, Birdring took some of the best players away from this team, and the replacements, boys, which are just not playing as well. So it just really feels like this is somewhat of a neutered, weakened Kongdu Uncia.
Yeah.
And you know, people kept saying, wait it out, let's see how they play. It was only the first best of 5, it was only the second best of 5. Now we're going to the third one. And
Well, that's it. You get 3, so.
Yeah, and now expectations are very low as we move into this best of 5. Still hardcore fans for the team, but they're big underdogs here this evening.
Boy's just staring down the camera.
The personification of poise right there. So this team definitely going to have a tough best of 5 ahead of them. I feel like even taking a single game would be an achievement here. They claim the 3-0 in the interview, but it might just be all talk, as Freakin' Fleeks Brew have not dropped a single map in this group. One of the tougher ones going into the round of 16. People looked at groups, so looking pretty dominant right now. Again, the big story of Lucid, the ex-Uncia player, is you know, Bubbly and Lucid talking about each other there, and Lucid holds up
brothers
the
from
same
another
thing.
mother.
Yeah, brothers from another mother, and Lucid, he said it would feel weird to take out his old teammate, and teammates, and looking
no
to
hard
do just
feelings.
that. No hard feelings, indeed.
So he has full confidence that it's going to happen. And you know, I have to agree. Africa Freaks Blue right now do look like one of the best teams that we have.
One of the only teams actually in this tournament that's at the top echelon, at the top tier, one of the only first place teams to have no substitutes, just a 6-man roster. They don't plan on using anybody else. They want to stick with this team. They don't scrim with anybody else. It's these 6 or nobody. And there's a shot of Recry, the amazing soldier. Mono. I actually, I've never cast a Freaker Freaks Blue, but I have cast Arhan, who's actually an ex-Heroes of the Storm player who played main tank. He is completely switched up here in Heroes of the Storm, or sorry, in Overwatch, playing the DPS, the Genji. He's so good at.
Still sticking in there. Blizzard Esports is what this man's
That's
name
what
is.
he's all about.
Just swapping around to multiple different ones, but gonna be another tough ask here. We saw Rhinos unable to pick up a map against Meta Athena, Kongdu Uncia. It's going to be an even harder time trying to take one away from Africa Freaks Blue, because like you said, even though they are locked in, they're guaranteed that first place spot. They're one of the first ones to guarantee a spot in the round of 8. Still that fight money that they want to take home.
I feel like Decay looked really promising in promotions at the beginning of the season, but definitely has fallen off quite a bit. And not only did his team lose the hype, you know, the expectations have lowered significantly, but I feel like Decay has definitely looked a little bit weaker each and every week. Perhaps mentality wearing against, kind of waning on him here as he's losing week and week again and playing against the better players, the better dive players. Now he's going to have to face Arhan, which is going to be a massive challenge in terms of that matchup when the Dragon Blades start flying. Boys, not a ton of experience, playing only the Tracer so far. And Butcher coming in now, subbing in for Panker, going to be looking to probably play the main tank. When Butcher subbed in the past, instead of Poise, we saw more of a 2-2-2. When Poise was playing before with Panker, it's usually a lot of triple DPS we were seeing out of Uncia. So not entirely sure with both of them playing this evening how that's going to pan out, but we'll find out very soon.
I mean, triple DPS might be the way to go, so you just have more DPS than a Freak of Freaks Blue, because if you're just going to go 2-2-2 on either side, they will get outclassed by Recry, by Arhan, 100%. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they identify as their opening to get an advantage in this series, because there's very few options available to Kongdu Uncia. And I mean, this is going to be, you know, a bit of a blemish on this org, on this team specifically, because Uncia was always the one that made it out into the playoffs. This is the first time, really, that we're seeing Kongdu Panthera maybe able to make it into that playoffs past the round of 8 as they consolidate the team. So it's a bit of a passing of the torch between the sisters.
Yeah, passing over Bird Ring, passing Lucid away, Dance moving into the support role where he isn't able to carry as hard as he would in the past. He was a very flexible player, famous even for his Hanzo play. As Lucid definitely feels like the king right now. His play has definitely empowered Arhan over and over again.
I mean, that name tag makes it look like he works at like a PetSmart or a Radio Shack or something.
If you like, that sign says something like, if you like Freak of Freaks more than anybody, why aren't you cheering for him? I'm trying to get the fans to come down here. Quite literally a fan he's holding there. So there's already the fan favorites, the Freak of Freaks Blue here. Majority of the fans in the audience are there. Let's see where we're going for control for game number 1. Looks to be Nepal again. Okay. So both control maps will be Nepal here. As we start things off, we've seen Arhan play the Orisa on Hollywood. We'll see if he wants to swap over to it here on Nepal. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Remember, Freak of Freaks Blue do not want to show their hardcore strategies of what they have prepared going into the round of 8, because obviously this is going to be an easier match for them and there's nothing on the line. So why show everything you have hidden at this stage? So we might see some funny comps like that.
I mean, this should just be the same a Freak of Freaks Blue that we've seen in the past, and have this be a statement, you know, saying, you know, we don't need to use anything new, we don't need to innovate, we can just play exactly what we've been using throughout the duration of this season so far, crush Kongdu Uncia, and really just show that we are the #1 team in Apex right now with that 9-0 score line they can possibly have after today's matches.
That's going to be the storyline here. Can Uncia have this amazing series here, do what no other team in the group has, and take a map over a Freak of Freaks Blue? Or is it will be expectations, the 3-0? Will it happen? We're going to find out right now.
Get it.
Big cheer coming out actually for the Kongdu fans there at the end.
Yep, very fanatical, you'd have to say. We'll see what happens when we start things off. I mean, right now, Kongdu Uncia, I think their overall goal should be just to try to take a map off of a Freak of Freaks Blue. They're kind of like Leonidas at the end of 300, where he throws the spear and it cuts across Xerxes' face, and he shows like you're not a god, like you actually bleed, you're a mortal man, and then he dies. Like that's kind of Kongdu Uncia. They're trying to just put a blemish on the record of a Freak of Freaks Blue as they get ready to go into that round of 8.
That's the plan here. We'll see how they want to do it. Poise going to be on the Soldier here, so Tavian back on his normal Tracer, Decay on the Genji. So it is going to be triple DPS as it normally was when Poise was playing in the past. He's been mostly on the bench for Uncia, but in his first matches was playing the triple DPS composition to Tavian. And Decay So just Butcher for the solo tank.
Yeah, so positioning going to be very important for him. The Discord Orb's going to be that much more deadly. Damon, he jumped on, goes rather low, has to dash his way out to safety. Point getting ready to unlock now in just a couple seconds. You can see Afrika Freaks Blue already sticking inside the point pretty comfortably, but losing Recry is going to be a big upset for them as Dance takes him out, but that's going to be Decay going down. Donghyun is dashing forward, takes out that Genji, so an exchange 1-for-1, and Afrika Freaks Blue will get that first cap coming through. Arhan already a pulse bomb in the inventory.
The D.Va-less composition for Uncia definitely means that they can't deal with RN as easily, and as you can see, Pulse Bomb goes into poise immediately. No protection here. Just going to look to take out Bubbly as well. Not even going to chase him, doesn't need to. They have the point. They're looking for the retake. Actually won't have it, though, despite that we saw the jump-ins there and the damage being done.
Yeah,
Not going to be enough.
So Damon there on the exit can't quite make it out. I'm surprised that Arhan actually didn't go deep to try to finish off Bubbly. Does let him live for a little bit longer. Now he's going to be coming back in with that sound barrier ready to go. Will be matched by IDKs.
Speaking of which,
so far, yeah, it's going to be the sound barrier and, thrown out from both sides. Discord Orb in onto Butcher, goes low, pops out the Primal Rage. Now the Transcendence coming down, just trying to keep everybody topped off. Dance just hovering back and forth, will be answered from the side of Lucid as he pops his own. And now Decay drawing out the Dragon Blade. Transcendence already finished off, finds a kill in on the Recry, but is taken down by Lucid. Gives it the boot, gets rid of that Genji. And Afrika Freaks Blue pushing them all the way back towards their spawn will hold on to this one, 60% accrued.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough attack now for Uncia. Looks like even the delayed respawn here on the Taemin going to be very annoying for them to deal with. They don't have anything. They kind of popped everything earlier. They're not going to have the Dragon Blade, no Transcendence, no Sound Barrier. Going to have to be poised, finding some amazing angle. Going to be pretty unlikely with Donghyun on the D.Va to deny him for this to even happen. The second he pops the attack, D.Va's just going to come down and block it.
Exactly, and that's not going to be there for the side of Afrika Freaks Blue. Recry popping his own tack visor as poise hits the low ground, wrapping around the side, looking for a kill. Can't get it though. It's like you said, Donghyun is there. Does throw out the defense matrix and denies a lot of that damage. In the meantime, Recry does finish off Decay. Just going to be the one kill that he's able to find with the tack visor, but it's 95% getting ready to go into overtime. Arhan dies. Could this be an opening for Kongdu Uncia to finally get a retake? Starting to take down. Transcendence gets popped as Dance goes piling in onto the point. Donghyun from the back trying to boop him off, trying to deny this take from them, but it's starting to come through and he's going to get popped out of the mech.
Okay, Taemin actually picks up a triple, knocking the mech out there. Butcher uses Primal Rage at the last second, which is really unfortunate, actually, because he's not going to have it for the defense here now that they did take this. So perhaps a bit unnecessary to pop that Primal Rage, but they were so desperate they did not want to lose this first point. But now Afrika Freaks Blue with the 99% lead just can do a few eco pokes, a few pushes to actually build up that 6-gold push. Or if they get any picks at all, look for an opportunity. Such a risky thing to do to pop that Primal Rage that early, or rather that late, I should say.
Oh, Decay gonna get taken out right off the bat, but Arhan gets hit by the Helix Rocket, so he loses his life. Sound barrier out from Kongdu Uncia, and Lucid throws down the Transcendence. As they start pushing in, trying to get this retake. Push forward, trying to get onto Poison. Pops that tack visor. Donghyun's gonna get knocked out of the mech and gets taken down immediately. Self-destruct hits with a bubble throw down from the Winston, keeps him alive. And he just finds Recry, he's not paying attention, just gets fired right in the backside. Those Helix Rockets hit. Gets taken down. Now a couple answering kills out from Afrika Freaks Blue. We'll see what Decay can do. Pulls out the Dragon Blade, finds two as Arhan and Lucid both go down. Kongdu Uncia should hold on to this point for even longer.
They used so many ults in order to do so, though. We'll get the kill here. Drops the spray. So Decay and Poise definitely earning their spots on the roster tonight, but Afrika Freaks Blue is going to have this amazing push to come up now with Mono having that Primal Rage, also the tack visor. They don't have Sound Barrier, that's one thing that is missing. No Transcendence either, but they have the ult lead because of all the ults that Uncia had to use to defend.
Yeah, neither team has defensive ultimates at the moment. Arhan going forward, trying to go ahead and pick off Butcher. Does not find the Pulse Bomb stick, and now he's going to be in trouble. Leaps forward, just going to play ring around the Rosie at the moment, but Lucid gets picked off by Decay. Big opening here for the side of Kongdu Uncia trying to hold on to this, but now the tack visor pops up off screen. Butcher goes down, and Mono comes up with a double kill. Tack visor finds a kill and onto Decay. That'll be the recap. That'll be the game as the overtime ticks down. Was looking pretty good for Kongdu. Off the retake, worked their way up to 90%, but in the end, they just get swept out there. So that's going to be Shrine going over to Afrika Freaks.
I mean, Mono got the kills there. He had the Primal Rage for the disruption, but it was really the damage coming out from the tack visor that helped clean everything up from Recry. And when you run a composition like this with a triple DPS without the D.Va, you are weak against moves like this. You're very weak against the tack visor. And Recry known for his positioning, known for his tracking even without the tac visor coming over, but still, when you don't have a diva, you struggle against Arhan's Tracer. You struggle against Recry bringing out the tac visors in moments like this with Mono disrupting everyone in the back line. So with that early lead, Afrika Freaks Blue just took their comp and used it wisely. So move into now Sanctum. Close call though, you do have to give props, especially to Decay and Poise, who was playing the Soldier last game, or last round.
See how this one's going to go here. Kongdu Uncia looking to tie up the rounds on Nepal. Forward, already coming through. Poise going low, has to zip his way back a bit. It's topped up, himself alive, so far no kills coming through, and it's 5 seconds for the point to unlock. See who is going to be able to get on top of it first and foremost. Very deeply coming through. Butcher straight into the face of Afrika Freaks Blue. They can't really turn onto him to take him down. And Donghyun, it looks like he's going to lose his mech. They'll trade on the Divas, and multiple kills coming through now as Arhan back over onto his staple Genji, comes up with the triple kill. Butcher, Damon, and Bubbly all taken down. Let's go ahead and get a quadra as he gets rid of Dance.
Yeah, I mean, we had the camera actually on Recry there, but it was all Arhan. Recry had the finishing off pot shots there. A very deep dive from Uncia, and Decay, or rather not Decay, sorry, Damien did get a few picks there, did a lot of damage, but no one could kill Arhan, and that was the big story. So I do like Poise switching over to the Diva, though, even though he was very accurate on the Soldier. They do need some more absorption here.
Pulse bomb gets tossed out, but I think that actually, we saw that flick around from the side, was able to eat that one, and Arhan drawing out the Dragon Blade already gets rid of his enemy. Genji gets rid of Bubbly as well, so another double kill going over to him. And it is just going to be stomping grounds here for Afrika Freaks Blue as they just continue to shove Kongdu Uncia back towards the spawn.
We'll see if they end up trying to camp this this archway. It doesn't look like it's so far on. Was looking for that pick there on to Dance, but didn't get it. They're just going to take the more defensive position back here on the point. It's a bit all in to try to hold that archway. Can actually backfire big time. Lucid does have the Transcendence. It's actually adding a lot of damage into these fights. Another huge dive in.
Yeah,
Arhan does get picked early.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice opening here for Decay. Transcendence comes down from Lucid. Everybody topped off as the recap gets ready to come through from Kongdu Uncia. Nearly have it, about 75% of the way, but they start contesting this one from the side of Afrika Freaks Blue. But with IDK, Mono going down, now Donghyun following suit. They will get picked off. That will be the flip coming through. So not quite into overtime this time around, but 65% still accrued for Afrika Freaks.
It's like they want to look for a sneaky self-destruct potentially. Nope, just going to scout it out and back off.
Feeling a bit saucy for a second.
Yeah, a bit saucy, indeed. So they actually did this with very few ultimates. They have a lot available, including the self-destruct. We'll see if Poise wants to drop it down. Not going to be the best opportunity.
Sound barrier coming through here, and the fight hasn't really broken out, so blow that one out and still don't really gain too much for it. They haven't been able to take down too many HP bars here on the side of Afrika Freaks Blue, and the self-destruct not going to find anything. You see Arhan barely making his way back in onto the point, using that dash to get himself out of the pit. Boy's posturing forward, trying to buy as much time for his squad as he can. Has to retreat, but still loses the mech for it. He'll get jumped on, will be taken down, and that should be the flip coming right back through for Afrika.
Yeah, this is a really scary flip too, because they only use the Primal Rage. Mono actually still alive here, just getting healed up, giving more percentage to IDK. We'll have that sound barrier soon. Lucid soon to have a Transcend. So they're about to have 5 ults for the defense against just a few available right now for Uncia. It's going to have to be all about Decay right now. If he gets picked off first or can't find a good Dragon Blade, it looks like this first map is going to go over to the Freaks. Okay, here he comes trying to take another angle of approach. The Dragon Blade actually not used here. Sound Barrier comes up first.
Hasn't got it yet. There we go. Will finally draw this one out. The Sound Barrier going to be eaten away, but Arhan on the other side, the other Genji is the one coming up with the kills. DK finally finds IDK, but that's just about going to be it. Him losing out on his own Lucio. Kills here for Afrika Freaks, but the recap does come through. So ticking up, but it's going to be immediately retaken by Afrika.
Yeah,
now into overtime.
They just allowed them to take the point, but they won the fight diving in with the Dragon Blade. Transcendence coming up, though. They're going to do one more.
I mean, desperation move here really for Dance. Pushes forward, has that Transcendence thrown down. Now goes away, and the self-destruct comes out. Doesn't find any picks. Into overtime. Kongdu Uncia desperately looking for this retake. They find a kill in onto IDK and Lucid, so both supports from Afrika do go down. Maybe they can see the point. Just hand this one over. You can see Recry firing from a distance, keeping himself safe. They will just allow this to get flipped.
Yeah, Arhan's about to have another Dragon Blade, so that's going to be the key. They're not going to have any healing ultimates to pair with that, but still can do a lot with it, as we saw in that last fight. Bit unfortunate for the Freaks here, though. They had total control, but just couldn't hold on there after using everything, quite literally. So good moves by Uncia. Okay, Butcher going to look for a cheeky flank, getting saucy, as you said earlier, but
He's
going to
just
have
going
to
to get booped off. Has the lead to keep himself safe.
Close call there.
Yeah, 75%. So again, they're going to be building up here for Kongdu Uncia. 90 on Shrine before Afrika won the map
So
with that team kill.
They got the pick onto Arhan, but he's back, respawn now. This is going to yet again be the story of the Dragon Blade, this time for Afrika Freaks Blue.
Maybe we'll actually get to watch him this time around. Butcher going to be diving in, has the Primal Rage ready to go, and still hasn't really been threatened
Arhan's
too
dead.
much. Arhan does get taken down. Dance finds the kill, but Decay booped off the map by the Diva, or by the Winston rather. Does go down, so both the Genji's going to be taken out, and the retake starting to come through here for Afrika Freaks Blue. Both Transcendence use Zenyatta's dance around on top of the point, trying to keep themselves alive. Their squads alive and in this fight. Overtime now for Kongdu Uncia. Afrika Freaks Blue. Can they pile back in time? Arhan swapping back over to the Tracer, does make the tag, and Mono leaps in with the Dragon Blade. Comes out from Decay. Can he find anything? The tag visor actually from Rikurai on the backside of the fight takes them down.
Several.
It's going to be a 3 for 3. Can they get onto the point to find this take?
They need to jump onto it. He goes into self-destruct, though. He's coming in at the same time here.
Doesn't find anything with the explosion. It's still 50% on the
Arhan.
take here for Afrika Freaks Blue. Poise, still very healthy. Butcher going low. Both of them could get popped, but the rest of the squad from the respawns will be coming in. The Diva gonna get booped off. He makes it back
stays
onto
on.
the platform. Looked like he was gonna be dead for sure, but he stays in for a little bit longer, buys some time, and crucially stops the take from coming through for Afrika.
Decay getting the kill on the Lucid is so huge here as well. No more healing there, and no extra damage. Damien actually drops the pulse, but it's eaten immediately by Donghyun. He has a self-destruct. He's going to need to use it. There it goes, up into the sky.
Just get taken out. That's going to zone them off for a
Nice
little
bubble.
bit. Actually does find the kill in onto Damon, so not going to be denying that one. So crucial pickup here for Afrika
Primal
Freaks Blue.
Rage for Butcher.
They keep piling in. IDK going low, but he manages to snake his way out off the point, gets himself onto the high ground, keeps himself alive, crucially for the fight. Butcher now leaping back in.
Afrika gets
Has
the
that
retake.
Discord
The
orb
retake.
coming through. Yeah, the retake is there. They're trying to pile in. Poise immediately getting popped out of the mech, gets taken down. They have to stay into this one. Bubbly comes in, goes low.
Recry.
Sound barrier down for Afrika Freaks Blue. And after one of the most back and forth fights I have ever seen on a King of the Hill map, Afrika Freaks Blue close out the 2-0 on Nepal.
I mean, there were a lot of really sick individual plays out of...
IDK right there at the end. That was amazing that he got himself out of that pit.
He got himself out of the pit.
Or out of the room,
We
rather.
saw a really good boop coming out, too. Arhan buying so much time. And not to say that Uncia didn't have a good fight there, but it seemed like the deal was sealed, and Afrika Freaks Blue had Arhan jump onto the point against 4, buy enough time on the Tracer for everyone to come in. Mono with some really good usage of the Primal Rage, and they just had the better team fight there in the end in terms of mechanical team fighting. They won out, but it came down to some clutch moves. Recry was never harassed either, ever, never when he was on the point, and he only came into range of everybody else when it was desperation mode, when he had to be the last one there. Good usage, of course, of his biotic field to heal himself up, Mono protecting him there, and eventually the massive lead Uncia had on that point withered away, and Afrika Freaks Blue were able to retake. But what a fight! So now we're going into our hybrid map. We saw King's Row before. It looks like we will see it again.
I mean, that was absolutely crazy. That was way closer than I ever anticipated this match could be in any regard. Not sure how it's going to fare as we move forward now onto the hybrid of King's Row. But Kongdu Uncia, they nearly delivered on Nepal in both of those rounds. But that was one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen on Sanctum.
I think you can argue overall Decay's Genji play was better on Sanctum than we saw from Arhan even. He's getting picked off several times, being picked off right when he used his Dragon Blade, and Decay was able to find more value. We did see the one huge Dragon Blade from Arhan that allowed them to, they lost the point, but they retook it right afterwards. But otherwise, it was always eyes on Arhan when the Dragon Blade was about to come out, but a few whiffs there. But they ended up taking the point in that final fight anyways. So we're now going on to King's Row for game number 2. A very common hybrid map. We'll see if Afrika Freaks can keep it going, or if Uncia is going to tie us up 1-1.
I get it.
That girl is not going to have a voice by the end of the night.
Nope. Maybe not even for game 3.
I mean, I might not even have one after that finish on Sanctum. That was a bit exhausted, but we closed it out in the end.
That we did, so...
As did a Freak.
We'll see what Freaker Freaks want to run, and we're going to see the Arhan, Ariza, the IDK, Torbjorn on defense. Could be unlikely for this map. More likely seen on the Hollywood, but hey, we've seen it before. I hope we see it. We'll love to see it in action again on King's Row now. Changing it up. Wants to place the turret. We might actually see it. Places it. So, looks like this is a very real Ariza Torbjorn defense coming out from a Freaker Freaks blue. For Uncia, Taemin will start off on the Widow. And we've seen a lot of Widow out of this guy, even attacking on King's Row. On King's Row and Route 66, Taemin has finished attacks with the Widow, going all the way to the end of the point.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to go forward with that one. The moment's still hovering. This will have the boost out from the Mercy. Hasn't found any shots yet, though. So we'll see how far forward he wants to play this one. Hops up over top of the theater. Didn't quite get anything. You can see all of Freaker Freaks Blue just playing back around the corner, sitting here behind this barrier with the Torpedo turret.
Taemin's still on the Widow, trying to find an angle here to perhaps knock this turret out, but with the shielding coming in from Arhan and Mono.
Okay, says hello, gets a kill in onto IDK. Nice little opening here. He sneaks his way around.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, the Stealth Tracer coming through.
They see this opportunity.
They capitalize, though. Several members go low. They finally go ahead and pop Poise out of the mech. They get rid of the turret as Butcher goes forward, takes that one down, but he pays for that with his life as Recry takes him out, and Bubbly gets taken down by Arhan here on this Orisa. So the hold will continue to come through, and you already see that swap off coming, or that, not the swap off, rather, the respawn coming through from the Torbjorn as he gets back over and starts putting down that turret again.
Yep, so just resetting this. Taemin's actually incredibly far forward here, up in the front lines. So here's another dive attempt now. Butcher coming into the front lines.
Mono just jumping straight in on top of Dance, is able to just zap him to death. Bubbly, even just channeling on him the entire time. It's not enough to keep him alive. Now that's going to be the Primal Rage getting popped. He goes forward in onto Damon, up into the skies to try to just snipe out Bubbly. He'll pop the res. Mostly trying to get that invulnerability to keep himself alive. Mono, one final leap, doesn't make it over the wall, drops down the bubble, but he's actually going to pay for this one. So big mechanical error from Mono, and that can be a crucial opening for Kongdu Uncia to get onto this first point.
Okay, Molten Core is coming up here as well. They're going to try to hold this using that Molten Core. Here comes Damon, actually having free reign now to find the damage. IDK gets the pick, and so does Donghyun. Can they hold on here? Turret actually still hanging in for a bit longer. It's actually doing so much damage in this fight. Finally, they get it down.
Yeah, works them down. The first tick getting ready to come through as Donghyun will die. If Freaking Freaks Blue, you have an opportunity to go for another contest. IDK still nearby, firing away. Just with his regular shots. Second tick is here. Do they want to go for this? Picks up the armor, gets left on, gets the health pack as the rest of the team starts coming through. He's trying to keep himself alive and does so now to the backside. That's going to be the attack visor coming through, finds Bubbly, and Damon takes him out. The Helix rockets find him. That's going to be multiple kills coming through. The ultimate from the Orisa, the turret, both go down, as do Arhan and Recry. Pulse bomb in onto IDK. Takes him out. The turret goes down as well. And Decay just starts cleaning up house. Self-destruct thrown down. Not going to find a damn thing outside of Poise's mech. And that will finally be the cap for Kongdu Uncia.
That was such a crazy exchange. I said 3-man, but it was really the turret and the Orisa ultimate that were taken down there. With the double, though, they got the pick.
It really looked like a quad for a second.
Gets it right in the perfect spot, right in the sweet spot. The shield goes down. And that's what helped secure the point there for them, as the turret was out of position, and after that, more just completely destroyed after that. But really good play from IDK. The turret stayed alive for so long there at the end. It was actually the carry itself. Talk about beautiful tracking, talk about good aim, but the turret itself, man, it was the carry.
Yeah, it did work. See Recry getting jumped on there. So Biotic Field gets the healing coming through. Does keep him alive. Yeah, Freaking Freaks Blue starting to play a bit further forward as they try to contest this payload. Damon still sticking in with the Widowmaker, just misses out on that high ground opportunity, falls off. The grapple hook, and that's going to be a nano boost in onto Mono as he leaps forward on this Winston, building up for that Primal Rage very swiftly. Trying to get the kill in onto Dance, can't quite find it.
He's that Primal Rage, okay, he does pop it here, just barely getting it off.
Can he find much else other than a couple smacks? Doesn't have any kills coming through. Really, the only thing that we saw was off-screen Arhan taking down Damon.
Okay, Decay has that pulse bomb, doesn't need it right now, gonna hold on to it. There's another pick, and the push continues. A very solid shove. Arhan does get the double, actually, though, with the dash here. Don't know if that's going to turn it, though. Doesn't look like it.
Going down, tanky front line here from Africa Freaks Blue, suffering heavily as Mono goes low. Kane still pushing forward, doesn't have to use that pulse bomb yet, holds onto it for a very long time. The payload will continue moving. 2 minutes on the clock, just this final corner to be rounded.
So many ult advantages for Uncia, especially the self-destruct, which may be enough in itself to actually secure this when you have that plus Butcher's Primal Rage. Just no way it feels like Africa Freaks with only the Dragon Blade right now, soon to be the Sound Barrier, can hold off against this. They'll need that pairing to stop this. This is already the pick on Arhan, so once again, killed before the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb comes out there from Decay, not going to find anything, but like you said, Arhan going down is going to be a very crucial pickup here for the side of Kongdu Uncia, as they're just a couple meters in front of the point now. Self-destruct's thrown down by Africa Freaks Blue, not going to find anything, but Dongyun's able to get the re-entry as Damon just still picks off from the backside, finds the shot in onto IDK, finishing off that Lucio. Get left on by Mono, but grapple hook immediately takes him to the high ground, keeps him safe. They might even get some exit kills here. Mono desperately trying to leap out, but he's got Decay there sticking to him like glue, finishes him off, gets the stagger coming through, and that's the completion on point B.
Damon is one of the only players in Apex that will actually run the Widowmaker all the way to completion on this map, on Route 66, and when he's given the room to work with, when they do get the kills onto Mono or Donghyun, then he actually does do so much damage, and it's surprising that he's willing to stick with it this much, but he's finding success with it. Arhan still has that Dragon Blade, by the way. Probably wants to use it. Could have had a second one by now. Here's the Nano Blade.
Oh, well, that's going to be the Helix Rockets coming down. Takes out Damon, Decay, and Dance both going down. Nano Blade slicing away as he does go low, but he's able to stay alive.
The res comes in.
Massive res comes through. Yeah, Bubbly finding 3, pops him back in, straight back onto the high ground. Goes Damon, but 2 members right off the backside of that when Poison Butcher do fall down. Transcendence used by Dance, just trying to keep everybody else topped up. Doesn't really have anything, though. And for now, Africa Freaks Blue will claim control over this payload.
They do it with really just the Nano Blade, as well as those picks. Recry with the Helix Rockets kill, and then Arhan cleaned everything else up. So they actually still have the Primal Rage, they still have the Attack Visor, and a Self-Destruct. It's a very efficient defense here by Africa Freaks Blue. Gonna hold on to that Self-Destruct until dire situations arise. Okay, here it is. Actually gonna look for a huge opportunity, very risky. Only going to knock Poise out of the mech before he can use his own self-destruct.
Yeah, but that's Attack Visor out here from Recry, trying to dash around, needs to get away from that bubble. Pulse Bomb comes down, does clip Lucid. Maybe he was going to be able to leap out of that one in time, but does get taken down and off the backside. Mono falls as well. Poise knocks yet again out of that mech. So stay alive, but he's kiting back his Baby Diva.
Arhan's going deep to get the kill on the Bubbly. It's always really important when you knock the mech out of the fight like that, even though you didn't get a kill, quote-unquote. It allowed Recry to do more damage with that Attack Visor. But the push continues, and they have that Primal Rage. The Dragon Blade's still held here for Arhan.
So they're waiting for the sound barrier. Yep. Yeah, it's getting ready to come up now for IDK.
Nano Boost is very shortly going to be ready as well, so if you can just be a bit more patient. Nope, not going to be patient. Just going to go in right now onto Damon.
Comes through, throws out the deflect, trying to deny a lot of the damage coming through. Does take down Damon in the end. Doesn't find much else, though. So just gets the 1 kill for the investment of the Dragon Blade. We'll see how quickly he can build up another one. It's 40 seconds remaining on the push for Kongdu Uncia. Really just have that Primal Rage to work with for the Sound Barrier getting ready to come through for Bubbly.
So now the next push here for Uncia is going to be about picks, or it's going to be about Attack Visor. Damon already looking to build this up right now. Has a nice angle, supported by his teammates. Attack Visor could be a huge opportunity here.
Got it ready to go.
They have to use it now.
Deep Leap in coming through here from Mono is going to be the recipient of that Nano Boost, and Sound Barrier is answered from both sides as they start getting taken down. Attack Visor still has not been popped. That's going to be the Primal Rage here from Mono as he tries to buy a crucial amount of time, leaping way far back, drawing the attention of several members of Kongdu Uncia out of the Foundry, however. K dashing forward, looking for a Pulse Bomb target, can't find anything, has to burn the recall to get himself out to safety. As Africa Freaks Blue are very far forward, Pulse Bomb comes down overtime, ticking away, has to dash in, tag in on the payload, repeatedly just trying to keep himself alive. Self-destruct comes through, takes down Butcher, and that might just be it here for Africa Freaks Blue.
He can't get on there with the recall. He was unable to buy enough time, which forced Winston to go onto the point, because without that recall that you talked about, he had to use the recall early, so couldn't actually stay on that point very long. Then when he wasn't there, the Winston went down with his focus fire, and he came back with a recall just too late.
I mean, if you take a look at the end of the kill feed right there, he actually kills Lucid right at the last couple seconds as that overtime ticks down. So getting distracted by the Ana, focusing on that instead of tagging the payload. So, you know, maybe he was forced into a position by Lucid where it's like, you have to contest me or you die anyway. So he was kind of forced into that fight rather than contesting the payload. But
Sure,
either way,
I think he was
a lot of distance
Yeah,
gained here.
I think he was also very concerned about not having a recall and just stepping on the payload and dying instantly, so just wanted to basically kill the Ana while he was building up that recall. I think it was 3 seconds away at that moment, 2 seconds away, something like that. Very close to having it, but they do stop the completion now. This is not the easiest push in the world for a Freaker Freaks Blue. We do see this map completed very often. So we'll see what Uncia wants to run defensively here. I feel like a Freaker Freaks Blue took a big gamble with the Orisa Torbjorn combo and didn't actually have a good start for them, but they eventually had the better fights there in the end. And the better ult economy, just using their ults, again, more efficiently, only using 1 to trade for 4 oftentimes, which eventually just gave them the advantage in terms of every team fight. So now we're moving into this attack now for Freaker Freaks Blue. We'll see what Uncia wants to use for the defense. Looks like a pretty standard comp with poise on the soldier. And it's going to be Decay even actually on the Genji here for the defense. So the triple DPS as we've seen from them when they run poise in their composition.
I mean, this is really bold from Kongdu and Uncia. They're just going to be looking to shred down the members of a Freaker Freaks Blue as quickly as they possibly can. But if they lose Butcher, without that front line, they will just get taken down very quickly. Ride is going to go ahead, scout out, won't find anything, so he's going to swap over to his own soldier. Yeah,
and with there's no diva, you want the soldier, and like you said, if Butcher goes down, it's a shooting gallery for Recry, so that's going to be the idea here as Arhan comes into the front lines, already a ton of damage done. They're going to dive in here.
Yeah, they're straight in onto the point. Recall comes through here from Damon, trying to keep himself alive. Has to dash around the backside.
Butcher's gone now.
Everybody pretty disjointed here. Damon does find a kill in onto Lucid, a nice opening, but he gets taken down by the Helix Rockets from Recry. Already the second tick about to be gained by a Freaker Freaks Blue, and they might just outright take this.
Yeah, looks like
in about 40 seconds.
There's going to be one more attempt here. Decay actually does deflect the Helix Rockets. Nicely done.
That's the kill, but can they continue this? No, they cannot. The tick comes through. They get the cap. Freaker Freaks Blue, now it's just about 6 minutes on the clock for the Street Space. Plenty of time to work with. Kongdu Uncia fighting in and around this choke point of the archway. Do come up with a couple kills, but really not going to be that crucial of a stagger because the payload is just now becoming available.
Yeah, massive time bank here for the Freaker Freaks. Such a risk to run this triple DPS.
Arhan, look right.
He looks right.
It's like when you're crossing the street, look left and right then left.
Yes. And he got out of there. He was fine. Decay with kind of a cheeky move. Dragon Blade is popped here early. Nothing to pair with it, but he does get the pick on the Arhan, so that's a big exchange.
Doesn't find much else. Can't quite get in onto Lucid. Here's that Squid Orb come through. Has to keep himself safe, so he will go ahead and kite back. So, again, very big investment on that Dragon Blade to only take away 1 kill, and it doesn't really buy them too much time off the clock.
It looks cool when you
get
a
minor victory.
Yeah, it looks cool when you get the Dragon Blade picks like that. You pop it and you're like, aha, I didn't have anything paired with this and I still got some picks and I'm burning your time pool. But now Freaker Freaks have bigger tools to work with to actually push this hard. So if they can be efficient now that that pick went through, it'd be nice. See, the Nano actually is committed here.
Oh, Arhan with his own Dragon Blade into the backside. Does find Dance, but the Tac Visor from Poise takes him down. Butcher leaping around, has that Primal Rage pop, trying to keep himself up. Sound Barrier will come through, keeps him alive at least for the moment as Recry fires away with his own Tac Visor. Doesn't really find any kills, however. It will be respawning, but this payload has been halted for quite a long time now. So Kongdu Uncia doing well around the bookshop. Yeah. I guess I never even noticed that was a bookshop until right now.
Yeah, it's a bookshop. It's not a bookstore, it's a bookshop.
Yeah.
It's kind of trashed. It looks like Winston's been through it to look up some notes. Well, Arhan here, again, now Dragon Blade. There's so many tools otherwise, though, for the Freaks to push this, including the self-destruct. Looking for an angle, just the positioning here of Dongyeon is threatening on the side of Uncia. They have to back away from it.
A really deep dive here from a Freaker Freaks Blue. They come up with the kill onto Butcher. So getting rid of that single tank in the triple DPS comp, very crucial for them, buys them a lot of time on the shove.
And it just empowers Recry. It allows them to do so much.
And they're just tearing right through. So Decay, I mean, right now, only one with an ultimate, does have that Dragon Blade ready to go, but you're talking about pulling out a Dragon Blade into a Zenyatta that has that Transcendence waiting.
That's right, and the self-destruct available as well. This looks like this is going to just be another checkpoint. Decay has just been so cheeky trying to get Arhan, and when it works, it looks amazing, but when it fails, he looks silly, out of position. Not going to drop this. Okay, looks like he will here. Transcendence, though, immediately to answer for it, and that's why he's just going to swing it air. Here's the self-destruct once again, going to knock him out of the fight.
Yeah, he gets taken down. Damon going down as well. Sleep Dart in on the Dongyeon. He stands back up, so he's just taking damage. And they are yet again just going to be pushing forward. They get the cap in onto point B. And now,
look at this. Even the deep dive to actually try to force this all the way in. They're going to get pretty close with this.
they're going to try to finish off Bubbly where they can. The boop's coming through. Arhan now in a spot of bother. Pops that deflect, gets that Harmony Orbs, keeps himself topped up.
He's looking for a nice angle to get the Dragon Blade from behind here. Again,
meters.
Butcher going to be the priority target. He gets nanoed here. If they target him down, though, this may be the end of
He
this
goes
map.
up. He doesn't pop the Primal Rage. Recry takes him out with the Tac Visor. Crucial misplay from Butcher.
Now
not
no
using it in time. And now they're just ripping right through them. The Dragon Blade out from Arhan. Nobody there to peel him. They cut right through Kongdu Uncia. And that might just be the completion here. Butcher respawn. Desperately going to try to get back in here. Does have the Primal Rage
Okay,
to buy
he's going to
some
try
time.
for it. He needs to get on the point, though. He's in the air, and that's it.
Oh,
he's
dear.
in midair. What a mistake. 2 back-to-back critical mistakes, not popping that Primal Rage when he needed it. And we talked about it. It was almost like I saw a car crash happen before it happened. If he dies immediately, Recry pops off and carries the team fight as we saw. Comes back in with the Primal Rage, but uses it to jump into the air for some reason, allowing the completion. And, I mean, this was a... what a anticlimactic end to our second map.
It is no longer the Cloud9. It is now the Butcher, because that was really bad.
I mean,
that
I
was
have never,
especially bad.
I mean, we've cast Apex for a decent amount of time. We're still new, right? It was our first season as main casters, but I have not quite seen anything like that in my short Overwatch casting career. That was definitely a bit of an oopsie.
You know that you leap straight up in the air, you allow them to push. When there's just a few meters left, you can't afford to do that. Use the Primal Rage, smack them off of the point, buy time for the rest of your people to come in.
He wasn't even
Not
that low
leap
in
up.
health.
Why would you leap into the sky?
He wasn't even that low in health.
I have no idea what Butcher was thinking. That was terrible.
He should have popped the Primal Rage before that. When you run the triple DPS in the solo tank, the Winston has to survive, so a bit late on the Q button there.
Yeah.
And that was messy, so...
Underestimating the damage output from Freaking Freaks Blue, underestimating just the distance that they have, or overestimating it, but oh well, if Freaking Freaks Blue poised to take this 3-0, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll see if they close it out.
봄꽃책에서 듣다. 있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성 사이다.
노력은 선수를 만들고 코어 i7 프로세서는 멈추지 않는 파워를 드립니다.
Welcome back, Apex fans. Freaka Freaks Blue look poised to take the 3-0. If they win this next map, they will be the third team in Apex history to come out of groups with a 9-0 score. In Season 1, Rogue took the 9-0. In Season 2, Kongdu Panthera. And for Season 3, Freaka Freaks Blue are one win away from being that third team that has the 9-0, has the perfect, flawless group. And they look dominant so far.
Yes, they do. I mean, outside of that insane fight that we saw at the end of Sanctum, both teams, both at 99%, desperately trying to get that recap for Freaka Freaks Blue. Everything else has been pretty stompy. Kongdu and see some glimmers of hope on that defense on King's Row, but a very swift cap to start things off on point A. The Freaka Freaks Blue, their ult economy, their usage has been so on point throughout the duration of this. Because even though Arhan has, he's had a couple moments, but it hasn't been like really flashy plays so far for him. The use of the ultimates from the side of a Freaka Freaks Blue is really what's leading them to success.
It feels like Uncia is also trying to constantly pick Arhan off, and they've been successful many times.
It's not a bad strategy.
Yeah, it's been successful many times, but it's always Decay who, instead of actually looking for the amazing Dragon Blade with the paired ultimates with his teammates, is kind of off on the sidelines looking for these cheeky picks, and it's been failing, especially on King's Row. On the Paul, he got a few more, but King's Row not so much. So let's see where they're taking us here for 2 point. It's going to be Hanamura indeed.
All right, change things up. Saw full Sky in our first set. You can see there, defense first, usually having the upper hand. I believe it's 63% that it was stating right there. But the selection from Kongdu Uncia. This could be very heavily snowballed to get those fast caps. I mean, if a Freaka Freaks Blue get a cap like they did on point A of King's Row on Hanamura, get a couple of those kills, get the staggers through, you just roll straight in onto point B and get that fast cap with a massive time bank remaining.
Now, it all comes down to this for Uncia. They are out of the group. They are down at the bottom. They're going to face Super Weak if they lose this game, and looks like they just don't have it in them to do it. We'll see if they can turn it around, or if a Freaka Freaks Blue is going to just crash through them with a 3-0.
get it.
Felt like the Uncia cheers were almost louder there in the end, but
Desperately trying.
to try in, man. But it definitely has been a tough night for them. Damien going to go back to what he knows, what he loves, going back to the Widowmaker. And IDK will also go back to the Torbjorn. It's Arhan once again on the Orisa. And based on what we saw in King's Row, looks like they will stick to the strategy. Obviously, you can boop with Orisa on this map too, at the backside of point A. Very unlikely scenario, but a possibility. But it's more about the protection for the Torbjorn turret.
Well, interesting that we're seeing Afrika bring this one out. I wonder how legit of a strat they think that this is. It could just be that semi-BM, we're like, you know what, we could probably beat Kongdu and see with this, show this, and then maybe teams start practicing against Orisa, but we actually don't use it during the round of 8.
I think that's more likely because they want to hide for the round of 8, but this is obviously a strategy they've practiced before. We've seen them use it before, so they're going to place it actually behind this rock for the time being. Not going to place it, not going to have the aggressive early Torbjorn charge build on this map, obviously with a short run back.
It's just that extra bit of defense. You have the barrier, and now you have a rock.
Yeah.
The rock can't be destroyed.
The rock can't be destroyed, man, never. It doesn't actually give you hero damage either in the in these tab screen, so. Decay is going to come into the back here as Damien is looking for the angle, but with the rock here, it's even harder. The barrier lasts so long.
Damn that rock.
That rock is so frustrating, man.
It's the MVP of the match right now. Damien will be sticking in with that Widowmaker, at least for the time being, as Decay goes forward in onto the point, firing away, trying to build up for that pulse bomb as swiftly as he can, but getting through Donghyun proving to be a bit difficult. Gets that biotic grenade.
We actually get the first tick, though. So definitely a small victory here for Freaker Freaks Blue. Arhan doing so much damage here, though. This large clip. Even the nano going down now onto Donghyun. He will actually be knocked out of the mech, though, as this gets past the turret.
He gets taken out, and Damon is actually kind of gating back Lucid, containing him inside that room. Pulse bomb comes down, not going to find the stick, doesn't find the kill, but they still pick up IDK. As the turret goes down, follow through, get rid of Arhan. And that's going to be the cap here for Kongdu Uncia.
Trying to get
and
the
they
staggers.
Get more kills. Yeah, Lucid going down. This could be a massive opening for Kongdu.
Yeah, they're looking for the double potentially here. Damon does get found, though, immediately taken out by Mono. That's going to really hurt the momentum for this push, and everyone's already so low. It looks like this is just going to be a reset now. No way to find anything else. Transcendence, though.
They want to play forward onto this one. Yeah, the Transcendence comes through from Dance. Everybody being topped off here, in onto the point.
Butcher does have that Primal Rage. Is going to maybe have an opportunity to redeem himself after that Cloud9 moment there at the end.
Dance goes down. Decay has the Pulse Bomb, gets the recall off top, back off. And now just dueling this one out with Arhan, both going low. Recall out from Arhan keeps him alive, but that's going to be the kill starting to come through for the side of Freaker Freaks Blue as they hold on. First tick not going to be picked up, but that was a big commitment from Kongdu Uncia initiating with that Transcendence.
Yeah, but they have 6 minutes left on the clock, so they absolutely can commit to this. But obviously the point still says, ooh.
That's a bit of a...
He's like waving the
bit of a
fence like, oh, sorry, guys. So, but obviously the point still stands, though, in that they committed a lot of resources. Now Freaker Freaks Blue have 4 ultimates available, soon to be the 5th, with IDK. Arhan switching, of course, back to the Genji. So a good setup and good tools for Freaker Freaks Blue, but Uncia can very well, over the course of 6 minutes, build those same ultimates. Mono going to commit here on the high ground, does have the nano on him.
Throw him down, he's trying to find Dance. The sound barrier comes down just in time to keep him alive. Another defensive tool going to be used. We'll see how much they can capitalize, how aggressive they can get now that this is gone. Primal Rage gets popped. He knows exactly where he's at, finds him in the corner, pins him down. And now it's just going to be smacking around the DPS members of Kongdu Uncia. Another push going to be stomped out.
Yep. Good biotic grenade here just to secure everybody. Heal them all up. It's going to be another reset. Another minute is bought off the clock. When you start with 6+, every push is about a minute of time, 45 seconds or so. And the Freaker Freaks Blue really only committing the nano and the Primal Rage there. Everything else built up now.
Yeah, and they're going to have the nano boost, especially very swiftly. Lucid's already at 61%. Mono hasn't really gotten to a position where he can start zapping people to build up for another Primal Rage, but actually Recry gets picked off first, so that's a nice little takeaway here for Kongdu Uncia as they start making their way back in. High ground at the moment, going to be dashing forward. Butcher and Decay down onto the point. His corridor onto Donghyun. He tries to keep himself alive, and Arhan's going to draw out the Dragon Blade. Has that sound barrier down as well, and he's just going to cut his way straight through Damon and Dance. Finds Bubbly on the end, so the triple kill for the Dragon Blade. Nice little pickups for him. And Kongdu Uncia still just getting bled
Oh, body block
further
him.
and further. Yep. Goodbye, boys.
Mono gets the kill there in the end. Further building more time here for Freaker Freaks Blue. Again, just using the two ultimates, the Sound Barrier and the Dragon Blade. So it seems like every time it's a hold, it's with two ultimates. We get several uses from Uncia, and it was Mono like corralling them all into the corner for Arhan to have that stacked up AoE damage. With one slice, he got the double kill. So now Uncia, they have more tools to work with. They built up a lot of ultimates, but it's been failed every time they've tried. With a few eco pushes, maybe this one's the one.
So you're wrapping around the left-hand side of the map on the attack. Pushing forward. Do you have that Transcendence ready to go from Dance yet again? If they can make something work with it this time around as they go piling in onto the points. That remembers operating up onto the high ground. That's going to be the leap forward from the D.Va, blocking out that tack visor, and Recry's just going to get taken down. Decay picking up the kill. Pulse Bomb comes through, sticks to the pillar, doesn't find the Lucio. IDK still is alive, but is barely so. Has to kite back now over onto the point. Gets taken down. First tick still not coming through, though, for the side of Kongdu Uncia. It's being very well delayed by a Freaker Freaks Blue. That's going to be the Sound Barrier thrown down by Bubbly to keep them in the fight. The dash forward from Arhan cuts through that mech, almost takes it down, has the Dragon Blade out, but will get killed by Butcher off on the sideline. Self-destruct up on top of the Onyx, not going to find anything here from Donghyun, so very poorly placed.
Attack Visor's coming up here now too, nothing to protect, and looks like everyone is just staggering in on the side of a Freaker Freaks Blue. There's the Helix kill onto Lucid. This may just simply be finally this cap after 3-4 attempts for Uncia. Freaker Freaks Blue gonna have one more attempt to stop them here to get the picks. Donghyun gets taken out already.
Pulse Bomb comes through, knocks him out of the mech. He gets killed immediately thereafter. Freaker Freaks Blue just piling back into the point, trying to hold on to this one as long as they possibly can. Discord Orb in onto IDK, but Decay has the tracking. It's so beautiful, takes him down as he rides the wall. And the cap is just looking very inevitable here from the side of Kongdu Uncia. So very close. Arhan yet again going through on the ice block. Trying to delay this as long as he possibly can.
They need to get some picks. If they can do that, they might be able to hold here. They have a lot of tools to delay now. Lucian's
EMP's almost up. Yeah, he's going to
drop
drop down, throws it out. He dies immediately, but that might be the opening. The rest of the squad needs Donghyun, though. Knocked out of the mech. Pulse Bomb thrown down by Recry. Will find Poise, who pops the self-destruct. Can he make it out of here safely? The kill's not going to come through, as he's still just trying to delay as long as humanly possible. Arhan makes it back into the ice block yet again. And at this point, they're just bleeding as much time off the clock as they possibly can.
Really good delay tactics here, but Damon has another attack visor. That's
another
how long this fight is gone.
Transcendence as well. It's going to be firing away, and oh boy, don't you just love assault maps, Wolf?
Yeah, it's great. Well, let's see. It looks like we're going to see that might finally be the capture. Arhan's trying to get in. Gets another one more ice wall, ice block off. Doesn't die here. They buy him more time, but he's going to be the last one. Okay, here comes Mono.
Here comes Mono.
This is just going on and on and on.
He leaps back in. This time
Primal
he's got
Rage.
a Primal Rage.
Okay,
Can they do
this
it?
could be the hold. No way. They actually dropped the Blizzard down as well, and we might finally see some kills. Butcher's down, Bubbly's down, and it looks like a Freaker Freaks Blue have done the unthinkable here, buying so much time.
Now it's a battle of the DPS here. Mono still alive, keeping himself in here. Will be rejoining the fight in onto the point momentarily. Lucid goes low, gets himself out 5 HP on the translocation. Damon comes up with multiple kills, and now we're less than a minute on the clock. The leap back in from Butcher. Already with a Primal Rage pop, but Arhan's back in with the ice block, delaying yet again for his squad. Self-destruct thrown down, the bubble from Butcher will stop any kills from coming through from that. Now the attack fires goes out from Damon.
Sound Barrier as well coming up here for Freaker Freaks Blue. They're going to push them up. They survive. They will stop this push for the time being. Lucid has the EMP. Here we go. He's coming around. Good angle here. Drops it down.
And that stance immediately falling. Donghyun and IDK have both died on the other side of the fight, as has Recry. Another big opening here for Kongdu Uncia, where they do have the man advantage. They will be able to get it. 11 seconds remaining, though. Nearly having 7 at the start of that push onto point B.
They had, I think, they started that fight around like 2:45. That fight went 2+ minutes, and we saw really good delay tactics actually out of Lucid specifically. Lucid and Mono syncing up where they have Mono come in, buy as much time as possible, drop down the bubble, build up as much Primal Rage as possible. When he was about to go down, he'd jump out. Lucid would drop the translocator on the high ground, buy a lot of time, try to be invisible, translocate up, buy another time. Then, boom, Arhan comes in on the Mei. He buys some time. When he dies, Mono's back, and it's repeat. And even though they were never able to fully stabilize, they got so close several times, and 2:45 or so, dropped down to 11 seconds there in the end. So what should have been for Kongdu Uncia an amazing time lead and a second capture, now down to 11. Doesn't necessarily mean they might force the stopped completion here. It's very difficult to double capture on Hanamura, but still, that was one hell of a hold from a Freak of Freaks Blue. That one's definitely going to go down in history. Just the coordination and the communication on who was on the point to continue to tick it down was really, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, so much time bought there by a Freak of Freaks Blue. I mean, that was a complete mess of a fight and just really absolutely silly the way that everything transpired, but still the amount of time that they were able to pull off that clock was very impressive from the side of a Freak of Freaks Blue, even though it was a bit of a fiesta.
It was, but it was really, when you look at the subtleties of what they were doing in terms of positioning with Lucid, Mono, and Arhan, the three of them bought so much time individually because they were able to say, okay, my ice block's done, I'm dead, drop a translocator, come in, Mono's coming back soon. Anyway, moving on, of course, after that amazing hold. Now going to be the attack for Freak of Freaks Blue, just going to run their triple DPS, Mono for the dive. Uncia is not going to do any Torbjorn action. They're also going to be running the 2-2-2 standard defense with Poise on the Diva. Arhan already diving here. There's the immediate Discord Orb, but that's a dead Damien.
Yeah, takes him down. Mono picking up the kill credit on that one, and already a Freak of Freaks Blue starting to spill in on top of this point. They'll get rid of Butcher. Poise knocked out of the mech will go down as well, and this should just be the immediate cap here for a Freak of Freaks Blue. Plenty of time on the clock for these guys. And we'll see if they can go ahead and start something over on the point B as that cap gets ready to come down. Donghyun playing very far forward, but dashes straight into the Helix Rockets.
Unfortunate. I think he actually had the recall available too there, so just perhaps wanted to get hyper aggressive then recall, but got picked off mid-blink. So this is going to be the 7 and 10, so similarly large time pool here for a Freak of Freaks Blue to work with. The early pick onto Damon was what started the snowball there for them. They have an ult lead, albeit slight right now. The Pulse Bomb available for Donghyun.
Pushing in over onto this high ground at the moment as the Freak of Freaks don't have that many ultimates to work with at the moment. Donghyun did use that Pulse Bomb, but nothing coming of it. Didn't hear the explosion, so likely an eat by Poise. Leap in onto the point to get rid of Butcher. Decay goes down as well. They lose Donghyun. We're on that Tracer in the exchange, but still Freak of Freaks Blue coming up trumps with multiple kills as they move forward, looking for that first tick.
Yeah, this is going to be a 1v1 here. Recry gets the tag, drops down to get the kill here onto Damon. Not on the high ground anymore, though. Arhan has Dragon Blade. They want this. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's going to be going for Nano Boost in onto the Winston, but he finds Dance right in the back line, immediately getting rid of that Ana. Now trying to cut through this mech, get Poise knocked out of it. Will be able to do so with the help of Donghyun there on that Tracer. They work their way through. The first tick still hasn't come through yet, and Recry gets picked off.
Butcher going to grab the double here, make that decay, allowing the triple onto Arhan. So push will be stopped for the time being. They don't even get a tick with this. They were very aggressive. But again, very similarly to Uncia, they can hyper commit. They can kind of all in on pushes like this because they have such a large time bank to work with, nearly the 6 minutes. So moving on to their next push here, Uncia kind of breathes life for a moment. Someone called out their ults almost ready. I guess that was probably Poise, actually. Decay just looking for a cheeky pick once again. Probably going to be looking for the pick onto Arhan. You can find it. Sound barrier, though, going to make this very difficult.
Yeah,
counter sound barrier.
Them. It's going to be thrown out by Bubbly as well on the other side of the fight. Transcendence thrown down here by Lucid. Trying to keep everybody topped up in onto the point. He dashing around, trying to build up that Pulse Bomb. Hasn't quite found it yet. The self-destruct from Poise will not find anything either. Recry takes down Butcher. And it comes up with some crucial kills here as that first tick still has not yet come through.
They have control of the spawn, though. They have control of the respawns here. This could be a very fast cap as Arhan picks up the pick onto Bubbly. Looking for more, gets it onto Butcher. That high ground tack visor gave them so much space, and that will be the cap, it looks like here. 5:32 now of time to work with. Very well done. No one dealt with the Recry, and it took me a little while just looking at these fights to figure out exactly what was going wrong for Uncia, but it just feels like Poise is never where he needs to be in terms of dealing with Recry. He either gets too aggressive and gets picked off, or is prioritizing dealing with the DPS that's coming into the backline, dealing with the Tracer coming out, then never has that defense mage available, or never has his mech when Recry pops attack visor there on the high ground. He was just able to do wonders worth of damage, and then it just snowballed from there. So now a massive lead in time, 5:32. It's obviously the given 1 minute for Uncia.
Yeah, get bumped back up there to a minute. 11 seconds would barely get you towards the point. So need to have some sort of assist there. But yet again, backs up against the wall. Kongdu Uncia looking to potentially get 3-0'd unless they can put on one hell of a show here on point A. Get that fast cap and try to snowball that into a second one on point B.
And when you have this little bit of time to work with, like very, very little, it's tough to know blindly what Afrika Freaks Blue are doing. So for Uncia right now, they might actually be expecting that it is going to be, once again, the Torbjorn Orisa because they have a large time pool to work with, but it's actually going to be the more common 2-2-2 defense here with Arhan on the Genji and Recry once again on the Soldier. So Damien's Widow might not actually be as effective here as they're looking for.
Yeah, wasn't really getting those crucial opening shots on point A the last time around, but they will go forward with it yet again. Start trying to work their way in. Decay going back around the left-hand side again. And then just trying to get those snipes in through the window. Doesn't have to worry
Feels
about...
desperate when you only have a minute on the clock to try to look for these picks. He's not finding it here, and even to switch costs them so much valuable time.
Cap starts. They're halfway towards that first tick. Butcher will be leaping out, tries to go forward and get on top of Mono. To the side, keeps himself alive for the moment as he picks up that health pack, but Arhan goes down in the meantime, and IDK off screen gets picked up by Damon, so the crucial picks starting to come through, but the cap is still being very heavily delayed as the first tick still is not there.
A really good target selection by Afrika Freaks Blue in those Winston fights there, but it wasn't enough in the end. Because obviously Afrika Freaks were better positioned to collapse.
They just had multiple picks, but nobody was on the point contesting this the entire time. So they still don't gain much ground. They'll just now be getting back in, decaying the rest of the squad, starting to come forward. Afrika Freaks Blue trying to gather themselves, have a nice cohesive push as they move back in. Second tick going to be obtained here for Kongdu Uncia. Afrika Freaks Blue, can they stop this from coming in?
They're very close to some crucial ultimates, like this Dragon Blade for Arhan. They're super close to making
so low though. Decay sticking to him like Luke, tries to come up with the kill, but actually gets taken out. Arhan finds the 1v1 despite the health disadvantage. Comes up
There's
with
the
the now
Dragon Blade.
poking in, but he's at 28 HP. It's just too risky to go ahead and draw that one out. Wants to have it for this further defense that will be required. So the cap does happen, but it's still just a matter of seconds on the clock remaining for Kongdu Uncia. They need to get into point B now.
They need a wonderful, amazing, godlike team fight to take this one, where they can do better than they did in the last time when Afrika Freaks Blue had the amazing, just non-stop, it felt like infinite delay. So here we go, they're going to look for it now. It's going to be one big fight for them. Butcher diving in first, has the Primal Rage, may need to pop it. No, Sound Barrier comes down first.
Just trying to keep him alive here. Arhan going low.
Decay's already dead. This is a huge problem here.
He still hasn't died yet. Self-destruction, not going to find anything. Then Recry with Attack Visor, as you say, takes down Poise. Butcher trying to delay as best as possible with that Primal Rage, leaps high into the sky. This time he can pull this off because there's an overtime clock. No payload moving, but still gets taken out.
And that was it. I mean, as much as they could have done, the pick onto Decay early on meant so much lost DPS and so much lost ways to buy time with the overtime. Tracer obviously get on the point, back off, come back in, recall, buy a lot of time to allow more respawns, but he was the first to die, so couldn't do any delays, and Afrika Freaks just had more tools there, but obviously they had the larger time bank. This was expected. So to get the first point in 1 minute is nice in itself. It's still fairly rare. So Uncia has that, and now they have an opportunity to straight full hold here. It's going to be difficult with a 5:32, but they have an opening now. Had they gotten both points, it would have been miraculous. Just unheard of. So let's see what they want to run here. It's going to be a long hold, so I don't think they can go with anything gimmicky. And for the time being, it looks like they're going to run pretty standard. Damien on the Ana, though, so it's going to be the triple support, actually. So Damien not going to be running the Soldier to get dove on immediately. They're going to look for longer sustained holds, which can definitely buy them a lot of time against a aggressive triple DPS dive like we saw on Afrika Freaks Blue. If they can't get the picks, they eventually just get out sustained. So I like this kind of, in a way, blind countering what Afrika Freaks Blue did on the attack, but a very risky composition as well. Lack of DPS.
Yeah. This could be a bit of a scary one here for Kongdu Uncia. Donghyun just going to get taken down right off the bat. Dance. The right click takes him out. So nice little opening, but there's still 5.5 minutes on the clock for Afrika Freaks Blues. That's only going to delay them so much.
Hey, I mean, it's a nice opening. So Arhan, of course, susses this out. and sees the Tracer up here on the high ground. It's not going to be the Soldier, so knows that he's up against the triple support comp now. Looks for the 1v1 here. Forces the recall, predicts it, but still isn't able to follow up.
Discord Orb, so he has to kite back. Doesn't want to pursue further in to try to get that kill on Decay. Will be pushing it onto the point. Dance is first one to fall down here, opening up with that one. Yeah, Biotic Grenade does come down, but there's still no one threatening Arhan. He's just right-clicking straight into the backs of his enemies. And this could just be another very swift cap coming through here for the side of a Freaker Freaks Blue. And it looks like that might just be it.
Yep, absolutely. So the longer sustained healing didn't come into effect because of those early picks. Getting several, just bursting them down. It was an amazing Biotic Grenade, but as you said, no one to threaten Arhan, no aggressive harassment coming out on the side of Damien, as he was on the Ana, of course, and Decay far away because he had that poor fight with Arhan earlier on, so didn't have his recall either. Now looking for the fast cap here. All they need is one tick.
Capping comes down, both of them in the corner, but still doesn't find the kills onto the supports. Would have been a crucial opening by Donghyun if he could have fight it, but in the meantime, Arhan takes down Dance, but he pays for that one with his life. Butcher with the nano boost will be able to just sap him into death.
Gonna try to desync some spawns, unsuccessful, but that's a nano boost used, so somewhat of a nice trade on the side of Freaker Freaks Blue. It will have the Dragon Blade and Sound Bearer and Transcendence and also that Tac Visor from Recry, so watch for Recry on the high ground to do that extra damage.
Basically, they have everything that they could possibly want, other than perhaps the Primal Rage from Mono.
Yeah, I mean, a Pulse Spawn would be nice too, but they have the major tools.
Yeah, still in a very good spot is a Freaker Freaks Blue, but can't really say the same about Donghyun. Goes low, back to the corner. Will get taken down. Damon finds him with the Helix Rockets. Recry in the meantime up on the high ground. Pulse Bomb comes down, not quite going to catch him.
A bit trigger happy on that Tac Visor, not really able to find anything. Sound Barrier too. Arhan gets one with the Dragon Blade. Self-destruct going to be used to buy time. They just wanted that fast tick. They still have a decent time bank, but that was pretty uncoordinated and very haphazard.
I mean, they invested everything on that push, and they come up with nothing at all. Just still need that first tick, but they can't get it. So pour everything in, they get shut down. Still 3.5 minutes, as you say, on the clock, so very much in favor of a Freaker Freaks Blue to close this out, but this does keep hopes alive momentarily for Kongdu Uncia.
Finally, Poise has a nice defense there on the Tac Visor. Had some lackluster ones for sure throughout this series on the Diva. Remember, this is his second televised match. He hasn't played too much here in Apex. Similar situation to Tyrant earlier. Okay, so right now, because Blue is just doing some eco pushes, they're trying to build up ultimates, looking for picks if they can to start something. They are going to get the one to Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher goes down really too late there from Bubbly on that Sound Barrier. Doesn't keep the Winston up. Now the Primal Rage popped out by Mono, just trying to smack everybody else so they can finally get that first tick to come through. Still just dashing around, haven't really been able to commit too far forward. The Tac Visor from Damon does find Arhan. Helps take down Donghyun as well. So another hold coming through from Kongdu Uncia. They just keep staving off at Freaker Freaks Blue repeatedly.
But I'm worried now for them because they use the Tac Visor. They're not going to have that defensively. Arhan's going to have the Dragon Blade. They're going to have Transcendence and Sound Barrier. Once again, these big pushes. This was an amazing trade for Freaker Freaks Blue. Uncia was forced to use that ultimate. And these eco pushes definitely give them the tools they need. We'll see if Rikai can have more success. The Dragon Blade may buy space for this. Okay, looks like we are going to see the Visor popped here first for Recry. We're not watching him now as Arhan does have the Dragon Blade up too, trying to force them back into the spawn. Good turtling here from Uncia though.
Trying to hold on to it, but that's going to be Butcher going down first and foremost. Yet again, the Sound Barrier comes down from a Freaker Freaks. The Decay's been picked off. The Helix Rockets find him, and they have that self-destruct out to zone. And nobody can get on top of the point in time. That's going to be a Freaker Freaks picking up yet another 3-0. A perfect season for them.
That's right, they're the third team in Apex history to come out of the round of 16 groups with the full 9-0 score, the 3-0 not dropping a single map. Very successful in this match. We knew they would be. There weren't really a whole lot of variables going to this. We saw Panker subbed out for Uncia, and I don't think it worked well for them. But just like we said earlier, with the Rhinos Gaming Wings, the usage of Tyrant, the usage of Poise, this feels like just getting them some more televised match experience, getting them experience in the booth in front of this loud crowd. And obviously it didn't pay off for them. Poise showing some weak diva play, but Freaker Freaks Blue just don't really show us anything new here. They play standard, and now it's hidden what they're going to show us in the round of 8. It can be very dominant. Very excited to see what they are going to pick. Uncia, they go out of this tournament very hyped, actually, at the start of the round of 16, but with the loss of Birdring, of course, and Lucid, they seem to be a much weaker team than they once were, especially in Season 2.
Yeah, I mean, they consolidated everything into Panthera. That's where their money's at right now as far as getting to the final, going as deep into this tournament as they possibly can. But given their performance recently against Mighty AOD, being taken to 5 games, you still have to have concern for Kongdu as an org right now in Apex Season 3. Maybe we'll see some more roster shuffles come through if Panthera doesn't make it deep enough through the tournament. Maybe if they don't even make it out of the round of 8. The first time that they have not done so, that Kongdu as an org hasn't had a team in the playoffs.
We'll see. Still early. Panthera still has an opportunity to step it up after their loss against Mighty AOD. Sportsmanship here in the booth. I feel like Decay definitely played today a little bit differently, very much trying to look for the aggressive pickoffs, never protecting his DPSs, which was an issue against Recry. So I feel like Decay employs the weak links in terms of the play from Uncia today, minus the Butcher fiasco on King's Row.
Fiasco's a good word for that one.
Sure, I'm just trying to be PC, Achilleos. But really nice time buying. I think the highlight of this series was the time buying from Afrika Freaks Blue, not only on the 99% on Sanctum, where they were actually outmanned, bought time to get a full push and won the long team fight, but taking a fight from 2:45 to 11 seconds on point B of Hanamura. So very impressive.